Do you know what I'm gonna do actually? I'm gonna put my hood up because my friend gave me the deadest trim of all time.
You just want to look bad, bro. That's why you're putting your hood up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm trying to be
You've been
intimidated.
getting the lockdown. You've been getting the lockdown trim from your friends.
Yeah, 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 mate. Look at that line.
Gee.
Wait, I've got a little intro. Wait, hold on. So we've got we've got Mac. We've got Mac.
Ah, shit. Yes. Yes.
Bank rob boys, the cash just comes and goes. The cash went to the
But yeah,
pub,
so obviously
cash
we've
went
done.
down the hole.
We did an interview, but it was on my dad's laptop. It was terrible quality, so we might have a bit of deja vu when we're discussing. And also, yeah, I knew you before. You'd been on my radio show. We've made some tracks together. So yeah, really sick to and really just sick to chat regardless. So you just moved out of your yard.
Just moved out of the crib, living in Vauxhall now, near Vauxhall Station. Banging, man. Loving it. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and how is it over there?
Yeah, everything's cool. Like there's loads of Portuguese delis and shit, loads of Spanish delis, and that's really what I want out of an area. Just fucking love having good food around and shit. So that's
Mm.
been good. Been walking to Hyde Park sometimes to like get some. I've just been going on very long walks, man. So yeah, it's good. It's fun walking through Central in these times when there's just not really anyone about. Um, it's good.
Yeah, and how does it differ from West where you were before?
Southwest. Well, I was in the fucking
Sorry,
burbs,
Southwest.
and
Yeah,
I was in Kingston upon Thames. For those who, I mean, people might not even know where the fuck that is, but yeah, it's very different. It's obviously like a lot more central. It's a lot more like living in a city than Kingston was. Um, but it's not like really anything like I'm not kind of used to in it. I mean, I lived in Peckham for a little while. I lived in Nunhead, and obviously I work in London doing music and street food and whatnot. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice being more in the hustle and bustle. You know, I can't fucking sleep. It's so loud, bro.
well, it's not
Like
there.
I took it for granted. Like at home, like obviously because I live in a little bit of near Kingston called Hampton Wick, and it's so quiet around there. So like sleeping, I'm used to sleeping in like dead quiet basically. And
Yeah.
here it's like I live in a block of flats. It's like because of lockdown, obviously everyone's inside, not working and just like yeah, it's stressful. Like my neighbors will be up until like 12, like chatting really loud and like watching TV, and it proper leaks through my roof. And then they'll be up at like 5 in the fucking morning as well. So I don't understand these people. But yeah.
I don't know if you can hear the kerfuffle going on in my halls right now, but I just bang nature noises really
Yeah,
loud.
yeah, that's a good idea.
But yeah, so just to give a bit of background, we've known each other for a while. So this was years ago. Yeah, I was a little nipper back then.
Mhm.
And we made some hard tracks, man. We made some
Oh
nice.
yeah, we made some. Like I said in the last interview, I've still got it on my old laptop somewhere. I've got that. I've got all of
Yeah,
those
yeah,
sessions with
yeah,
like Theodore Black and
yeah.
man like Lewis Finch. Fucking yeah, there's a couple. I was gonna start doing that like when I first moved out. Like that was my plan. That was kind of where Mac Weather and Friends came from. Was that like well, Mac Weather and Friends was more like everyone like I was proper close to. I'd known for a while, but I was also planning on just doing sessions like and just bringing like random artists who I rated and like bringing everyone together for like a day. But I only ended up doing that like twice. What once of which was with you and all of them lots. So
Yeah, man. Just to start off, how have you been during lockdown?
yeah, I've been all right. Like sometimes it's funny. Like sometimes it really all kind of gets on top of me. Sometimes I feel great. I think what's really been keeping me sane is like I'm lucky to kind of have a purpose which drives me, which is making music, obviously. So I've been focusing on that, and I just signed with an indie label as well, and I've got a record to finish off basically, and I've been working really hard on that, getting the visual side of it sorted, talking to videographers, photographers, and Also just skating and just going on really long walks and like, you know, talking to friends, just trying to stay sane really. But like I said, yeah, some days it's fine, some days I guess it feels kind of hard. But
Yeah.
I'm bearing with it, man. I'm bearing with it. I've got hope, you know.
Yeah, and it's really nice to have that purpose that drives music. How has lockdown affected your creative process?
But basically, if it weren't for lockdown last year and kind of coronavirus locking off all live shows, I wouldn't really have had the opportunity to get so into writing my own stuff and developing myself as like a solo artist, which is something I always wanted to do. So you know, I'm very like lucky that that worked out for me basically. And now I'm in a position where like I mean basically in a position now where I've dreamt my whole life to be and always work towards, you know. But like I said, if it weren't for all the events of last year, I probably would have been on tour playing with Big Pig or with I don't know, with whoever, DJing for Ava, maybe DJing with Nine8. It would have been a big festival year, so I wouldn't have had much time like to myself basically.
So it's
So
definitely been positive in some ways.
oh yeah, like dude, like I in many ways, yeah. It's been hard, but it's also been like, you know, I've had no choice but to work hard really because otherwise I'll fucking go crazy. But
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, I'm lucky, man. I'm lucky that it all worked out for me.
And let's talk about your two releases, Culver and Blur. I thought they were so good, man. I really, really liked them, and obviously, hearing them was sick because I knew you as a producer before. Obviously, I guess what struck me about both of them was the profoundness of the lyrics.
That's it.
I really connected with it.
That is literally what it is. It's like that's what the whole song is about. It's about like the nostalgia for previous like relationships or whatever, like in whatever capacity that like you feel you relate to it in whatever capacity you feel you relate to the song. It's about that like nostalgia for past relationships and kind of like the idea like thinking about the part. You know, sometimes you think about things like friends or like relationships in the past, and you're like you think about it and you're like did that fucking ever even happen? Like you feel like it feels like a past life or some shit. It's kind of that kind of vibe, you know.
You can't put a kind of logical chronology to it. What brought about those two songs?
Well, Culver was like just about it was actually about my first experience in Los Angeles in LA, and the tune, the actual song in terms of like the instrumental was like it's quite an important one for me because it's kind of the mix of the influence of like 90s like Midwest emo type stuff and more kind of modern you know like hip hop or kind of like pop or whatever. Yeah, it's like a mix of quite a lot of elements which I've always wanted to put together. And yeah, it was one of those ones where like there's no particular reason it was the first song that I released. It just kind of like I was making a lot of songs and this is the one that stuck out to me to be the best for a long time. At that time, you know, I feel like now I've written stuff which is but like yeah, like it's a song that means a lot to me and I'm glad it's out. And Blur is similarly is like it's another one where I wanted to have more of this acoustic kind of sound and more of a emotional kind of vocal take. And yeah, like like I feel like those two set a good precedent for what's to come, and I'm gonna be releasing a project like before summer, and like I think that is gonna be the real kind of then you'll fucking see you'll see what I'm made of then.
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah.
see what's to.
And what do you think it was about those two songs that stood out compared to the other songs?
I don't know. Like, so I don't like. There's some stuff I make which people maybe like more, but those two I just like. I just like them. I can keep listening to them. I can listen to them now, and I still really like them. So that's literally how I go by on what I release. Basically, if I like it, because you know, I mean, you know, as a musician, and like you know that you'll make a song and you'll be making it, and you'll have that feeling like this is fucking sick. Like I'm killing. Like this is sick. And then like you'll keep listening to it, keep working on it, and then like a week you're like, oh, like this is dead. And then you work on something new, and you're like, oh, this is sick. And then a week later you do the fucking same thing, and fucking so like I think basically like my process, and I think this is kind of probably the same with a lot of people, is that like you just keep making stuff and keep working and keep expressing yourself and putting yourself into music, and then you just like whatever sticks and feels right and feels like the best music, that's what you release. That's how I do it, basically.
And it can be quite agonizing, and that's why the whole creative process can drive you a bit nuts, man. As I was saying before, I really like the universal element of them, how it feels like it's kind of universally relatable. It's quite abstract in the sense of I could connect my memory with it.
I'm so glad you relate. I'm so glad like people relate to it and fucking, because that's the only reason I do it is for, you know, that feeling when you listen to music and you just really fucking hits you. Like that's what I want people to feel with my music. Like that's the only shit. So I'm glad that you have something like that. You know, appreciate that.
What was it about the kind of Midwest sound that made you want to incorporate it into your own music? Because I thought it was a very interesting mixture of influences.
Well, as you know, but maybe other people don't, I've always been in well, up until about a year ago, I've been in bands like on the side of doing my production stuff. So I was in a band called Scoundrel, a band called Pigs, and with Scoundrel, like our main influences were definitely like Midwest emo and kind of like Captain Jazz, like American football, Mineral, all of that kind of stuff, as well as like more kind of like heavier stuff like Full of Hell and bands like that. If anyone's familiar, Converge, stuff like that. So that's always been, as a singer, like that's always been like what I've kind of done. So naturally, when it came to mixing my production, my singing, like that genre, that kind of music was always going to be like a part of it. So Culver is quite a good example, I think, from my stuff where like it's got the vibe of like that kind of 90s Midwest stuff, but it's got the structure of more like a modern, more of like a modern thing. It's a lot more simple. It's loop based. There's no like kind of intricate guitars. It's just one loop, and it's much more production led. You know, like it's quite the sound of it is quite important as opposed to the actual notes and chord structures and stuff, you know. And it's I guess in a way what I was trying to do with Culver is like you see when people sample like let's say like a jazz song and a hip hop song, for example, and it's like taking one moment that a producer finds in a song and thinks is beautiful and then looping that. So it's kind of like you experience that over and over and over, and it's like you really learn that just those 4 bars are so beautiful and so intricate, and the whole like jazz song or whatever song you sampled is like full of that, but you've just chosen this bit and you've like magnified it and kind of made it its own thing. And like that was kind of what I was trying to do with that loop, was that like I really felt that was like a nice, like a beautiful loop that was harking back to those kind of bands. And then I wanted to do that, I wanted to loop it and make it that its own thing, and then, you know, basically sing over it and turn it into like my own thing. So that's basically, yeah.
It's important to also mention how good the lyrics are as well.
Should fucking be good by now. I've been like writing lyrics. If you actually deep it, like I joined that band when I was like 12. If you've seen if you heard some of those songs from when Scoundrel started, those lyrics were bad. It was so bad.
Well, you got to start somewhere, man.
You do, and I think a lot of people might think with lyrics like musicians just come up with, or lyricists just come up with lyrics and they've got this gift and it's like all of that. So I definitely don't fucking have a gift with lyrics. Like, I don't have that at all. Like I think I've just like practiced and done it enough where like I can get to a point now where I can write something and I'm not really fucking cringed out by it, which is like where I was at for so long. So like, yeah, practice makes perfect, huh, with everything.
So you said you joined that band when you were 12. So what drew you to music so early?
Guitar Hero. Took about this last time, isn't it? Guitar Hero.
Yeah, I remember you said, yeah.
My dad's always been really into. I'll tell you about my dad. Actually, he's the kind of guy. He's always been really interested in music and like, you know, stuff which has had a big influence on me. And he's also he's been an electrician all his life. He's never really understood like exactly what he's interested in a lot of stuff, and he's a very knowledgeable person, but he never kind of found his thing that he really wanted to get into. And so like, you know, working on sites and stuff was kind of what he fell into and like what he needed to do to support the family in it. So when he raised me when I was a kid, he was telling me like, you know, like kind of find your purpose, and like when you feel like you found it, like don't like just go for it, innit? Like don't look back, just do it. Like don't let anything else get in your way. And that was like really influential for me, because as soon as I started playing Guitar Hero and like singing on SingStar in these games, I was like, bro, like this is 100% what I want to do. and like as soon as I joined the band, like that was reinforced like tenfold. And I always remember what my dad would tell me about just like working really hard. My dad would always tell me as well, like if someone works hard, like genuinely works really hard at something, like you will get what you want to achieve eventually. You just got to like work hard. So like that was always in my mind. And you know, after years and years and years, like you start to see like you actually do start to see growth, and you start to see yourself get better at stuff, and you start to see like, you know, shows becoming more packed, you know, playing Scoundrel shows. So literally I've played a couple gigs to no people at all, like not a single person in the audience, only like bar staff. So yeah, like big ups my dad, man. Big ups, shout out if he's watching, shout out my dad.
What was the point where it started becoming serious for you?
I was always serious, man. Always serious. Ever since, like, even when I was like, you know, maybe not like 12, but even when I started in the band, I was like, this is going to be like, we're going to be like a famous band. We're going to be like touring the world. It was always my plan. Like, there was never like a kind of like, oh, let's fall back on this or anything. I was always just like, music, or like it's gonna be this or nothing. But also at the same time, like as you know, like I've got my fingers in many pies. Like I like doing a lot of different stuff. I have a lot of different influences and tastes, and I like being really busy, and I like doing a lot of stuff. So like I was always doing the 9/8 stuff, production stuff, Scoundrel, Salmon Cat, like all this shit. And yeah, like as long as it's like music and it's something I really love and feel passionate about, like I was kind of like, and still am, you know, just like down to do, and I'm kind of like focused on it.
How did you find being in the band? Being in the bands?
Yeah, being in the bands was great. Like I've always felt like drawn to playing live and kind of expressing myself in a live setting. So being the front man for these bands where a lot of the music was very like aggressive and very emotional was great for me. Like I loved it. I loved performing. And yeah, like there's a real, even now we're not together, like they're still my best friends, and like I still make music with some of them as well. And like experiencing this stuff with them was, bro, we like, you know, we went to Quebec, like we had some great shows, we had some great like little tour, little like road trips and all this stuff. And yeah, it was great. Like it also made me a better singer. Like again, what I was saying to you about like being like writing and stuff, like being a lyricist, like that being something that I've worked hard at, and like I'm not necessarily gifted at it naturally. It's the same with singing. Like I wasn't like, I was never a good first place. Like I just like, I really fucking practiced, man. Like I played so many shows with Scoundrel, so many rehearsals and all this. And like, I think that has actually made me like a better singer. Even still now, I'm not like a good singer. Like it takes me a while to get good takes and shit. But like, you know, learning like how to play with melodies and like all of this stuff, and learning about harmony and about how a song should sound from just the perspective of like a band, like how to make a song sound full with just like a guitar, a bass, drums, and a singer. All of that stuff I think is hugely influenced, like, and like that made the kind of man I am today.
How do you find the difference between creating lyrically and creating musically?
I usually write, so I'll tell you a little bit about how I like used to write, how my lyric writing stuff has kind of gone. So before, when I was in the band, I used to write lyrics just like on my phone or in a book or whatever, like, but without the music before. So like I just write kind of like lyrics and it's like, or poetry or whatever you want to call it. Not that I'm bigging myself up when it's poetry, but you know, like I'd write this stuff on my phone and my notes and shit. And then when I get in the room with the guys and be making music, I'd fit it into the songs. But then and I do that for a while with my stuff when I first started writing for what is now like my Mac Weather stuff. And then like a couple of my peers, like people in 9/8 and stuff, were like, oh, like, you know, when you're writing, like try just like work out the melodies and kind of fit in the vowels and stuff, and like kind of make up words or whatever and see how that goes. And then I started doing that, and that actually helped me a lot. It helped me to kind of just kind of formulate melodic ideas a little bit better and get into like better kind of rhythmic patterns and stuff. Because you know, like I'm not a fucking rapper. Like I've learned a lot from like my peers, and just in rhythmically like placing your vowels and consonants and all of this. And So now writing lyrics is a little bit different, and it's more like I'll make the song and I'll make it sound good, like I make it sound exciting to me first, and then I'll then work on like a vocal melody or something like that, like a vocal melody idea, try and make a couple, and then I'll fit the words kind of to that, and then kind of feel like, kind of imagine how the songs make me feel, and then just like put whatever I'm thinking down, or like if it's reminding me of like a particular time, like try and put that on paper or whatever, and that's it. So it is, yeah, it's like it's a little bit, yeah, it's like a little bit more, I suppose before it was quite separate in a way, and now it's a little bit more kind of like in the same kind of process. Whereas before, obviously, like I said, writing lyrics before, turn up to the studio with the guys, make some music, and then like fit the lyrics to whatever song. Yeah. Usually, excuse me, I'm drinking this Red Stripe. I think usually I'll start with playing the guitar basically, and I'll like come up with just some sort of chord sequence or riff that I like. That's one way, and then just start working out like a drum pattern or some other sounds to go with it. But I think more generally the way to put it would be that I like to kind of like get sounds down that like make me kind of excited and make me feel like yeah, like this sounds cool, innit? And then start to work around that. But these days, like after, so I've written my first project now that's coming out soon. I'd say that's how a lot of that came about, is that like I was trying to find sounds and like rhythms and kind of feelings and stuff that like I really fucked with, and then put lyrics down on it and try and like bring together all of these influences and stuff. But now I think it's a little bit more like I'm actually sitting down with like an acoustic guitar or a piano or whatever and trying to like actually write the song, and then I take it into the studio and try and make it, because I'm trying to like properly kind of like write a well-rounded song that isn't like just production based. Because like obviously as a producer and like a kind of amateur mixing guy, like a lot of my stuff has been like very mix heavy, and yeah, a lot of the sounds are quite reliant on how they actually sound rather than what they're actually playing. So I want to kind of like put some more work into the actual kind of song structure and the chord sequences and the melodies and all this stuff. And like I've been working hard with my friend Jim, who's a really good producer, Jim Reed, and like he's been teaching me a lot about writing melodies, because that guy he's just write melodies for days in it, and like we'll probably go over like a whole verse and just like work out every little bit of melody and every little rhythm, and like make sure like it all works, but it's not all like kind of like looped or like the same. And yeah, man, like there's so much to learn, and there's so much work I need to put into stuff, and like I'm so excited to do that. But like, yeah, it's like the process is like a never-ending fucking like, do you know what I mean? Like a never-ending process, basically. Never-ending learning curve, you know.
And do you ever feel unmotivated?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Every fucking day I feel unmotivated. Nah. But yeah, oftentimes. I don't think you can force shit. You've just got to like I think like I try and treat it in a way a little bit like you're working like any job, innit? Like I try and treat it the same way as I've worked any job in the past. Like I'll show up at a certain time, start working, and just keep working and keep like trying. But if stuff doesn't work out, I don't beat myself up about it. And then at the end of the day, I kind of think like, all right, cool, like I've tried. And some days I walk away with stuff that I think is sick, and some days I don't. But like I think that's kind of like how I do it, basically. Like sometimes I have those like odd things where like maybe like I don't know, like I get this a lot, like if I'm on if I'm walking on my own or something, or like if I'm in the shower a lot, like I'll just like something will just come to my head and I'll be like, yo, that's sick, and I'll just work on it and that'll be like all good. But like that's a bit more rare. Like I think I just try. I feel like every song I make that isn't good is like a step closer to a song I made that's gonna be sick. So like that's kind of how I try and do stuff. I definitely strongly believe that you also need to just like you need to be like doing stuff. Like you need to be like out living your life and doing things for the inspiration to kind of hit you and for the motivation to come. Like if I was in the studio fucking every single day, like even if I was in the studio like 5 days a week, like trying to like do shit, like I wouldn't come out with anything good because I wouldn't have any like real inspiration. you just got to sometimes it's when you take your mind completely off it that you start to actually get like original ideas. And
It's like when you're doing something else sometimes.
yeah, I don't know if you know the singer songwriter Towns Van Zandt. He's just a fucking like folk country type legend. But he used to write. I'm pretty sure it was him who said this. But he used to say like he used to sit in front of the TV and just write and just like just watch TV and play guitar. But he wouldn't really be thinking about what he's playing. He'd just be like noodling, and then that's how he come up with songs, because he was saying like, oh, like his body and his hands like know what to do, but sometimes his brain gets in the way. So he'd just be watching TV and then be playing like, he'd be like, oh shit, it's kind of hard. It's kind of sick. And then like that's how like some of his songs would come, which I thought that was fucking cool, man. So like, yeah, like I think that's kind of that feeds into that, you know.
It's like when you see something in your peripheral vision which isn't there, and then you look at it and it's not there.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? Like when I'm
Yeah.
freestyling, the best stuff comes out when I'm not concentrating on what I'm saying.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Or
100%.
freestyle baffles me, man. I can't understand how the fuck people can do that. I swear you freestyle bare fast as well. Like you do, you particularly.
Sometimes, man. But again, it's literally practice. The more you practice, the better you get. Like,
I bet.
you know what I mean? Whereabouts are you from? And how do you think that that's had an impact on your music?
So basically, I was born in like Hillingdon, and then I lived in like around kind of like Ruislip, Ealing, Ickenham kind of way for a while. Then I lived in Watford for a while. This is when I was like young, like before the age of like 7. And then at the age of 7, I moved to Spain with my family, and I moved all around there. Lived there till I was 12. So very much had like my kind of like, I'd say that was like the main part of my childhood, really. Like, and then like growing up into like a young teenager, moved back to around Kingston basically. So like musically, I missed out on like a lot of British music, like obviously from that period when I was 7 to 12, so whatever years those were, I can't work that out, 2005 to whatever. And that at that point I was listening to a lot of I was a kid, so what my parents would show me, which was like, thankfully, because my parents have got good taste, I think like the 5 or 6 CDs that were kind of like on loop in the car. We had this fucking funny old, like really old Land Rover that was just like beat up and just like would always break down. And it was turquoise, and like it was my dad's like work car. And like I remember like just going down these like country roads in that car, listening to fucking like Welcome to Jamrock by Damian Marley on blast, and my dad just fucking vibing. And that and like Demon Days by Gorillaz, and Late Registration and College Dropout, and like kind of like not old, but like 90s, 2000s, like British indie, like Arctic Monkeys and Athlete and Embrace and bands like that. That was the kind of stuff that my parents were kind of like giving me quite a lot, and I think that maybe has like a lot to do with like why I kind of want to incorporate a lot of these sounds, especially with stuff like Gorillaz in it. Like that's always been like, especially Demon Days, man. Like the creativity in these albums is so crazy. Something I've always like been inspired to try and work towards. And I'd love to tell you that like Spanish, like flamenco and stuff, because I lived in Andalusia, I lived in the south. So like I'd love to tell you that flamenco music had a big impact on me, but like I really don't know if it has, because like none of my music fucking sounds like that at all. And like I was a kid. That would be the cool thing to say, is that'd be like, yeah, I lived in Spain, I became a fucking flamenco guitarist, and now like my music is heavily fucking inspired by the fucking
by the flamenco guitar.
that, and then Guitar Hero, man. Like I mentioned before, Guitar Hero was like the biggest musical inspiration. Like all of that stuff got me so into like rock music and like that stuff.
I've just got a Mac here.
Come on, bro. But I definitely remember like I listened to like a lot of radio when I was a kid in Spain, and the stuff they play on the radio in Spain is not good. And like like Pitbull and shit. And like when I moved back to England, I remember hearing the radio and be like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, what is all this stuff? I remember hearing like Keen and bands like that, and being like, oh, this is cool. And obviously, I don't really like it as much now, but like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, George, man. I don't know. I think if I'd never been to Spain, like if I'd never lived there, I think my music would be different. I mean, bro, if I'd just grown up in Watford my whole life, I think my life would, be very different. I don't think I might not have even ended up making music because it felt very much like felt very much. Also, my mum was in a band actually. I forgot to mention, like when we lived in Spain,
Yeah.
she sang in a band. She's always been really into music and always been into singing and stuff. And she I used to watch her play in Spain. Like she used to play sick venues, man. Like she used to go to cool places, and like I remember seeing her and her band play, and I was like, this is fucking sick. Like this is cool as hell. Like I really like envied that kind of like being the band of the night, and it like there'd be like an event or whatever, and then the day with the band, I was like, that's sick. Like I want to be in the band. Like that's cool. Like so and
Mm.
there's some in my head, there's some sort of like romanticism with like um associated with, when I was a kid. I don't mean romanticism was obviously as in like things are like a movie in your head. Like you look back on times and you're like you try and relive those times in this nostalgic way, and like seeing my mum like at these shows and like taking in all the environment and like I don't know, there's something about that which I think in a way like I really want to like relive. Do you know what I mean? Maybe that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know. I might be chatting shit at this point. I'm just talking as I'm thinking. But yeah, seeing her play live and seeing the Guitar Hero shit, and then my dad's always wanted me to like get into music and stuff. Like all of that when I was a kid was like a proper drive for me to be like, all right, like I'm gonna be this guy. Like I'm gonna do this music shit.
Mm.
Yeah,
How long were you in Spain for?
I think 5 years, 5 or 6 years.
And how did
I
you
can't
find
remember.
being in Spain, man?
Yeah, I loved it, man. I loved it. Like yeah, like it was real character building. I love Andalusia to bits. I love that place. I love Medina. I used to live in a town called Medina Sidonia, and like I'll never forget that place. It's in my heart forever. I still speak to people that I was kids in school with then, and like yeah, man, just got real fond memories. It was hard times as well, like towards the end, like but yeah, it was sick while it lasted. I'm glad I grew up there. I really am.
What are your favourite moments so far in your musical endeavours?
First time I met Aminé was at a studio in LA, and yeah, like I was well nervous to meet him. I'd already met some of his friends who had like I'd been making some music with before, and they invited me to the studio. Shout out Pascal, shout out Medicine, shout out Morning, all sick dudes. And I got there like a little bit early, and they were all there, and we were chilling. And like I was nervous, man. Like I was really nervous. Like I'm an Aminé fan, and like it was all very kind of like a bit of a shock to the system being out there anyway. Just like with all of LA is a very intense place. And yeah, he came into the studio and I was like, yo, like we've, like gave each other a hug and like fucking started chatting. I mean, he's a lovely guy. Like immediately I was like, he's, and then I remember like talking to him, I was like, how did you, because he shared Mac with other friends, which is how this link up kind of happened. And I was like, how did you like find that? Like, and he was like, oh, I'm not sure, but like, I know about 9/8 and stuff. And I was like, what? Like, you know about 9/8? And he was like, yeah, man. And then he was like, it's about to be an ignorant year. We don't push crap in the listener's ear. Like a Nige bar from the song Ignorant with 9/8. And I was like, bro, you know about Nige? He's like, I know about Nige. I was like, bro, what the fuck? And it probably gassed me up, man. I was like, yeah, it was the craziest thing ever. It was sick. He's such a lovely guy. All of them lot are real fucking good guys. And yeah,
Yeah.
they deserve the world, man. Real fucking good dudes and real good musicians as well. All of them lot were just so kind and genuine and like respectful as well, and like really made me feel at home in like such a fucking nuts place where I wasn't used to. And we had so many like sick chats about music and about like I don't know, man. They're just great guys. Like I actually like miss Aminé. Like he's a sick guy. Like I'd love to hang out with him more. But obviously, like COVID and shit. Like fucking don't want to go back to LA anytime soon. But like, yeah, those dudes are sick, man. All of those dudes are fucking sick. I can't wait to see him again.
What can we expect in the next project?
Oh man. Well, I've tried to make it like I've tried to make it like in the same way that I was saying about Cobra, like bringing forth these influences of this, and this. Like I want this project to be like 5 songs doing the same stuff basically. So like I'm trying to kind of show all of my like influences and kind of like styles and all the stuff that I want to do and pack it into 5 songs. And it's kind of like almost like a kind of like showing you what's to come in a way and stuff. If that kind of makes sense. Yeah, like I think it's a mix of trying to. A lot of it is me just trying to show people what I'm made of as well. You know, like with Scoundrel, like I played a lot of live shows, and it's easy to show people what you're made of because you can fucking perform, and it's quite aggressive music. It's quite complex, and like, but with this stuff, it's just me, and it's a little bit different. So like, I'm trying to go ham on the production, on the mixing, on the songwriting, on the lyrics, like everything. So yeah, I hope people like it after me guessing up so much just now. But yeah, like
Sure, it'll be sick, man. I'm really looking forward to hearing it.
oh man, get me jealous. Yo, sick.
um, so yeah, so where are you looking to take things in the future, man?
I mean, Matt, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, but like, I've got pretty high hopes for myself. You know, I want to be playing shows. I want to be just making sick music, and I'm still always gonna be making like productions for my friends, for Nine8, and for and still gonna be doing Salmon Cat stuff. So we'll see. I mean, onwards and upwards, isn't it? I'm gonna keep just working harder and harder and getting better and better. I think, hopefully.
It was really sick to talk to you, man. And I'm really excited for your new project, and also I'm really excited to send you what I've been writing as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear it.
I was listening to our tune the other day, and it brought back memories, man.
It's a good tune, man. You can fucking bar off on that stuff.